I don't think that William and Catherine would want George to go to an old boys' school, not in this era, but Diana wanted him to go there because she thought if he doesn't go there everyone will think he's stupid. As Prince George reaches the age of 11, he is approaching a pivotal moment in his education where his next steps will be crucial in shaping his future. Prince George is now 11 years old, and he's coming to the time in his life, he's sort of a mini-adolescent now, and that he will after face, the stepping up to the next stage of his education, and that means, sitting a lot of exams, and they don't any longer have the 11 plus, which is something his father would have sat. But there's other exams and whatever school that our Georgia and his parents decide that they can send him to, they don't have the problems that you and I do, that they might have had to put his name down years and years ago, and they will have their choice of schools and they can look at as many as they like, and they don't actually have to make a choice nearly as early as anyone else would, so they have that advantage. If George decides to attend Eton, it's likely that the same high-level security measures that are used for other royals will be in place as it is a school located within the Windsor area, and if George went to Eton, it would be quite a, to use the sort of same string of security to look after him, so it all Windsor-based and that's why I feel it might well be Eton, and also Eton is an extremely good school, and a lot of his friends would be going there. Like any mother, Catherine may feel a mix of excitement and concern as she faces the arrival of the holidays, a time that presents both opportunities and challenges. I think like any young mother with children, she probably regarded the beginning of the summer holiday days with some trepidation because you've got weeks on end to fill with three energetic young kids, and of course, private schools have very long holidays indeed. So I think it probably with a mixture of them sadness that they won't be still enjoying themselves in the freedom of the holidays. Eton has a rich history with royal families having educated several members of the British monarchy, but Catherine might be hesitant about sending George away to boarding school given her own concerns. So they've looked at Eton. Prince William was at Eton, Prince Harry was at Eton, and his Prince Charles was at Gordonstown. I don't think that they would be sending George there because I don't think they would want him to be so far away. She probably doesn't want him to go to boarding school at all, and it's possible that he won't. But I mean that's what makes her Eton look very likely because it is so near to where they're living, and that means that Prince Louis and Princess Charlotte will still be at their current school if George gets into it. And what other schools could be on the options for all of the kids, but George especially? I think that the world is their oyster in schools. I mean, there's no school that's going to refuse to have them, and they might want to go to a more progressive school. They might want to go to a school, like a sort of Larry-type school. They really have an enormous choice, but I suspect it will be a more traditional education because of the fact that they are members of the royal family, and they'll want them to know, the traditional are things of history and geography and English and as well as languages. They'll want them, and probably things like science and engineering would be high up on their list as well because that is the way forward for them to know about those kind of things. William's time at Eton proved to be a positive experience where he made lasting friendships and thrived academically, while Harry's experience was more challenging as his academic interests did not align with the rigorous demands of the school. Did William have a good experience when he went to boarding school? Do we know? Yes, William did have a good experience. He enjoyed it. He made a lot of friends there and of course a lot of his friends from his previous school, his previous school was what they call a feed for Eton, so it was the exams in his AR in LG, his previous school, were designed to get these young kids into Eton as a first or one of the big colleges, so William did enjoy it there. I think yes. I mean, he was there our individual houses, and he had some friends of his in the same house, so it was very much like a family thing. These huge schools are divided up into individual houses so that they are not suddenly and with sort of 2,000 boys, they are in a house, with 100 other kids at the most, so and I think that really worked very well for William. It worked less well for Harry because Harry wasn't really intellectual enough for Eton. But Diana wanted him to go there because she thought if he doesn't go there everyone will think he's stupid, but it was too much for Harry, He found it a big struggle whereas William, sailed through quite easily. Do the kids work with any sort of tutors to get them in school or do they just literally have them the nanny helping them and then obviously willing cater very hands-on parents? Do you know if there are extra staff at all? Well, there wouldn't be any. There wouldn't be any permanent or extra staff helping other the Wales is to get into schools, but there are plenty of, young university students who do come and give excellent tutoring, and I know Prince Charles had tutors. William had tutors, and I'm sure that if they need it, our George and Charlotte if she, but at the moment I'm sure if George needs an experienced but young fun tutor, he will definitely have them. If you can afford it, it's a wonderful thing to be able to do for your child, but most of us can't afford it. As the school holidays come to a close, Catherine might feel some relief knowing that she can return to a more predictable routine, even if it means juggling the school run. Kerr might feel a measure of relief that the school holidays are finally over and she could do the school run and perhaps get back into bed for a few hours afterwards, and I think that's in common with most young women these days, but of course. Catherine I am undergoing the cancer treat that she still is as far as we know undergoing and having good days and bad days as she herself has said. The holidays were probably a little bit taxing at times. Catherine and William are such outdoorsy people and they brought their 3 children up to be equally sport and loving the big outdoors, which is why they've spent most of the holidays up in Norfolk at Hall Aim, and they've gone to the beach and I'm run around and have barbecues and all the things that they've normally done as far as we know, and that is the kind of life that Catherine thoroughly enjoys. I think even the picture that was released of her standing under the tree as she said she was beginning to feel better and telling us all about the cancer diagnosis that showed that as she battles to get back to full health. I think nature and outdoors and gardening and any pursuit that involves fresh air and with her children is what she would have been doing. I think Catherine is quite a hands-on her mom and housewife. I don't think we can really call her a housewife, but I think I suspect she does take control of domestic issues. But having said that, William is a modern man. William has been very hands-on as well as a dad from the start, but particularly obviously in the last year, and since Catherine's been really quite ill, he had to take over things. I should think Catherine might have been sort of issuing orders from the set maybe when she was feeling tired because William himself has conceded he's not the greatest cook, but I'm sure his has had to be so. The support of her parents, the Middletons, has undoubtedly been valuable to Catherine, allowing her and William to manage family life with added help when needed. They've had the Middletons there, Catherine's parents, to help out a great deal, and they can call on help obviously if they want to, but they very much try to live a life as a family in their relatively small house, or it's called a cottage in Windsor Great Park, Adelaide Cottage, or at a much grander and larger Armagh Hall, even though they don't like a lot of staff around and if the staff are there then it's all quite informal. But I think Catherine will have wrested back control of the household as much as she possibly can. I mean, she loves the cooking and playing the menu. She's much better at all that than William, and she's very hands-on with the school run, and I think those were some of her first outings, if you like, him during the treatment. She started him slowly to do the school run with her mother sometimes at her side, but I think her in recent times at the end of last school term, as she was pretty much doing this school run every other day with taking turns with William. So I think we can expect her to be doing that her again as the new school year begins. I hope she's not feeling guilty about her prolonged absence from the public stage, because I think and I hope she understands that the vast majority of the public completely get it. They understand that she needs time to fully recover and concentrate on her treatment and all that it's doing to her body, and she is making progress, she has said, and I'm delighted that we really have no other information, because she has been allowed the space and the privacy that she needed. But big events maybe such as the Senate Remembrance Day service might be something where she feels she would want to be. Of course mid-November is pretty cold and that might not be good for her, I don't know, but I think big set-piece occasions like that is where we might see her. But more particularly I'm hopeful, and based on no inside knowledge I have to say I'm hopeful, we might see her on Christmas Day at Sandringham. We've seen her at Balmoral with the family going to church just the other week, and so the natural progression would be for them to be together at Sanding on Christmas Day, and that there will be a sort of complete symmetry, I suppose, in that the last time the public were able to get up close to her and greet her face to face was last Christmas at Sandringham. Then was the shock news just a little while after that she had had the operation, and then we heard about the cancer, so there would be a certain symmetry to her appearing